Do we follow advice? Don't buy a new vehicle right now? Well, I'd say buy a vehicle right now, and also don't buy a vehicle right now. They're both two fantastically true statements. Like everything in life, there's white, there's black, and there's a whole lot of gray in between because life has a lot of variables. So it all depends who you are. If you have, I'm going to make this super simple. If you currently have a trade worth a good amount of money, it's a 3 to 5 year old trade, you need to buy a new vehicle right now because all the evidence and data I'm collecting supports the idea that new car prices are probably, Jim Farley, CEO at Ford himself said, car prices are likely going to go down another 5 or 10%. Now we've got other articles from other top dogs, if I can call them top dogs. I don't know if that's the right expression. What do you think the English expression? Let's check give you a little English check here. What'd be your impression for someone who's a big deal, a head honcho, for example?
My impression? I don't know.
Okay, so I think I've got this over down here as a slide. You've got, the major car companies. I was watching Car Edge today. Love the channel. Great data. Really entertaining. I love the relationship between these two, between Ray and Zach. But they were talking about how, for example, Lithia CEO Brian Dober told Automotive News. So this is an article from Automotive News that he expects monthly gross profits of dealerships. So this is a big, huge dealer corporation that has dealers under one band. They're expecting vehicles, and other CEOs of major dealer network corporations are talking about this. Fat cats, thank you, that is great. Ogre bait, so very good. Okay to be an ogre, don't be a troll in life. But these head top dogs are talking about $100 to $200 a month dealer profits going down. What does this mean? It means about $100 to $200 less every month you wait for your new vehicle. So does that sound good to you? $100 to $200 a month less? Not in the monthly payment, in the overall dealer's profit, meaning on average, they're going to give up to the customer an extra $100 to $200 a month to entice them into a new vehicle. So 5 months, it's $500 to $1,000. A year, roughly $600 to $1,200. Those numbers sound okay. But if you think about it, dealers, and Ray and Zach did a great job of talking about this. They're talking back in the day, before the last 3 years, dealers on average made about $200 to $400 of profit per unit. And now they're looking at about $4,000, which brings me to another major headline. Q2, new car gross profits drop for 6 public auto dealers. So these are corporations that have hundreds of dealers underneath their banner, and they're talking about how, last year, 12 months ago, they're in the high 6,000s. Now on average, they're in the high 4,000s. So they've gone down about $2,000. So 2,000 on 6,000, that's what? 2,246. It's like 33%. Sorry, I'm doing my math all wrong, but it's roughly about a 30% decrease. I'm trying to stay focused here, so I'm not going to do the math in my head and forget what I'm trying to say here. But profits went down by about $2,000 per unit, meaning there's still space. Car Edge brought up the great point. There's still space to negotiate a great deal. Yes, but everything goes with supply and demand. So they might not want to take that. If you're trying to offer them they've got about on average $5,000 of profit, and so you offer $5,000 less and you're not willing to budge, they probably are just going to go, well, I guess I'll sell it to the next person. This unit will be here for someone that's going to come in later today or tomorrow, and we'll get more out of them. Now, the problem is dealers are building up their inventory because too many are still saying, well, no, I want the $6,700 per unit I was making back in 2022. That's silly. Sitting around trying to make 5,000 is a little risky. You'll still grow your inventory. And if you want to be smart, you just want to be a little bit better than the rest. You always want to be ahead of the game. Really, you should be willing to give up a little bit. So that means, I'd say if I was shopping a new vehicle right now, I would definitely, all my vehicles are always relatively new. So I definitely, if you're in the market and you've got a trade-in that's between 0 to 5 years old, now is the time. Because your trade in, let's say, 12 months is going to be worth about 20% less. So if you have a $40,000 trade, well, that's $2,000 on every 10,000. So you're going to get about $8,000 less for your trade. Already, my local dealer, I'm looking at cars that we bought 3 months ago that now, a $23,998 plug-in Fusion is now $20,998. Is it one of the best prices on the market? Yeah, it's one of the best deals you can find on the market for a Fusion plug-in that has been inspected, reviewed. You're getting a good vehicle, but you're also getting one of the best prices on the net. But that's also why they're going to sell it probably within the next 10 to 20 days. But dealers that keep the old price because they go, oh no, I paid more for it, they're just going to collect dust on that vehicle and are not going to get sold. It's sold. It's going to take them a long time to get sold, and they're only going to sell it when they wake up and smell the coffee. So if you've got a relatively new, 5-6-year-old trade or newer, now's the best time because the prices are going to fall way more on the used than on the new. Jim Farley, CEO of Ford, was talking about 5 to 10% on new vehicles, a drop. I'd say I believe that over roughly a 12-month period. But, how do they calculate that price drop? If the MSRP increases, but they're giving more rebate, I think generally they're still calculating that as, hey, there's a price drop. Let's say last year they're giving 0 in rebate on an F-150 and now they're giving 4,000. They call it a price drop, even though the MSRP has increased. So over 12 months, I expect MSRP prices to come up a little. And yes, the rebates will also go up a little, but where you're really going to get hurt is the trade. Now, if you're shopping a used vehicle, guess what? The best time to buy a used vehicle is going to be the longer you wait, the better. Because in a year, if prices are down 20%, you're going to pay probably about 15% less because most dealerships are going to be 3-4 months behind, sometimes 5-6 months behind, and they don't adjust their prices quick enough. Those aren't dealers you want to buy at. You want to buy at dealers that if they bought a vehicle 3-4 months ago and there's been a 10 to 15% decrease in just the last 3 months. In the last 2 months, we're going to find out tomorrow. I'm putting, my hand down, betting that July will have gone down as 4 or 5% decrease in wholesale prices at auction for used vehicles. June was 4%. May, I don't remember. I think it was something like 3%, but I expect July to come down as a 5% decrease. There's almost 15% decrease over 3 months. And I expect over the next year about, on the high end, 20%, on the low end, 15% for the next 12 months. To see 5, max 10% decrease on new vehicles, but not really because the MSRPs will have increased from year over year. So interest rates, probably looking at 2 to 3 years before we start seeing better interest rates. So if you're looking for a used vehicle and you don't have a trade, or your trade is, guess what, 15 years old. 12 years and older, dealers generally don't pay very well those vehicles because they're high risk. Because a 12-year-old or a 15-year-old vehicle is going to cost you a lot of money to prep, to get ready for resale. Or if you don't do anything on it, well, then you're just risking your reputation. If you don't put any money into it, someone buys it, takes it to another mechanic, they can come back and ruin your reputation fairly enough. If it's like, hey, if the sales guy told you, oh, this vehicle's great, this is a great 12-year-old vehicle, and you find out you got to put $8,000-9,000 into it, you're going to go blast them on Facebook. You're going to ruin their reviews on Facebook. So smart dealers recondition their vehicle. They don't sell the bad ones. They send them off to the auction house. So advice for all you dealers out there that want to know a successful manner of doing business. And you'll be successful if you take care of people. If you take care of people, you give them good service and you do your absolute best to give them a good vehicle. And when you get it wrong and the vehicle seemed good, you thought you did everything you could to it. Heck, I remember I sold a BMW, put $3,800 into it. Vehicle goes out to New Brunswick, has about an 8-hour drive. After 2 weeks, lights pop up. We already put $3,800 into it. It needed another $4,000 or $4,200. My business put the money in because we care about the people we sell to. We care about our reputation. So we had a happy customer and we apologized. We said, truly, we really did not expect that. We truly thought we were selling you a fantastic BMW. We're going to take care of you now. We're paying your mechanic. We'll cover the bill. So smart dealers follow a simple triangle. Top of the triangle, have a price that is very competitive. Sides of the triangle, left side, recondition the vehicle. Do everything you can to make it a trouble-free vehicle for the next customer. Third point of the triangle, don't hold on to everything. Also known as don't get greedy. If you look over the vehicle and you're like, we could make this look good. We could make this seem good. No, that's a vehicle that needs to go off to auction. Don't touch it. Lose $1,000 right now, sending it off to auction. Admit that you paid the trade for too much. Heck, if you need to feel better about yourself, send the person a nice little email with the proof that you sold their vehicle less over to the auction house and say, look, you know what? Your vehicle turned out to have this, and that problem. We paid it as if it didn't, but good for you. We think we made the mistake, but don't worry. That's our problem. We've sent your vehicle off to the auction house. It won't be a problem for anyone else. If you need to do that to feel better, that you feel like you're buying credibility and reputation with that person who might then say hey, one time I sold my vehicle to X dealer and it was kind of crappy in the end and they lost money on it. You know what? The person will probably, if you do it in a classy enough and kind enough way and don't insult them, they probably will come back and see you and be like, hey, sometimes they buy bad trades for good prices. But don't keep that vehicle. Don't try to pawn it on to someone else. Take care of people and the money will follow. So that's my advice for the market right now. It's both buy right now and don't buy time on the market. You've got a trade. Buy right now. You wait, and if you don't have a trade and your used vehicle will not cost you very much. Let's say you've got a boring 4Runner that takes way too much gas. 2002, and it's you definitely are convinced it's going to last it. You could try to tough out the next 3 years because in 3 years, interest rates should be lower. They'll need to re-stimulate the economy that, banks and governments created inflation. We're now all paying for it with high interest. We're going to continue to pay for it in high interest, even though, all the numbers are saying interest rates shouldn't go up more. They've still been putting them up. Why? Because they need to pay back for the money they invented. So banks have been printing money in the form of giving out house loans and mortgage loans and loaning money to corporations so that corporations can buy up leasing properties so that they can then increase the prices on those leasing properties to make the cost of living more expensive for everyone. They also buy single unit homes, which I think should be illegal, that major corporations with huge funds on the stock market should not be allowed to buy single unit family homes to then rent out to families because it drives up the price and it makes it so that families can't afford them. And then when the lower middle class the lower upper class can't buy rental units and small apartment blocks when corporations are driving up the prices because there's all this competition. And the worst is when it's not even our corporations, but it's interference by foreign influence where you've got certain countries buying into our real estate jacking up the prices and then leaving those spaces empty or renting them out. Either way, it's money leaving our country, especially when they get rented out to our people at higher prices. So I think a lot of that there needs to be some control. I have no problems with corporations spending trillions of dollars, which is their plan. Corporations want to spend trillions of dollars on new housing. I applaud them. Great. So people with more money can go on towards that new style, the new apartments, the new homes. I'm even okay with corporations building single family homes, because people with money will have the choice to go buy the newer and the better product, the in-fashion product. But what the problem is when these major corporations have trillions of dollars through the stock market and foreign interference, foreign bad people, because it has a bad effect. They're not bad people, but they're creating a bad effect. But when foreign individuals are buying up properties here, not even living in our countries, so not helping out with our countries, the result is they jack up the rent, cost of living goes up. But if corporations want to build single unit homes and all the people that can afford them can move to them, and then the older homes can go to people who have less money, because that's great. I think that's a bit of a solution that I feel could be very functional to control the rising cost of homes and rentals, which have skyrocketed, which are choking people. We need money left over to buy nice cars, because when you have a nice car, you're a happy camper. Nice car, happy life. Isn't that how it goes? Or is it happy wife, happy life? I guess
it's both of them.
I think it's nice car, nice life. Yeah. But a happy wife definitely is important, folks. So that wraps it all up for me.
Yeah, we had just a good question from For High For Low to finish. Where can I purchase the Bronco shirt that you are currently wearing? If I'm not mistaken, we bought it on Amazon, and I guess we have the link to a t-shirt in our affiliate links. Maybe it's not that t-shirt, but it will probably help you to find it easily.
Thank you very much, Maddie.
Because I know we had a shirt in the links.
So if you can wait 3 years for your used vehicle and you don't have a trade, you're probably going to get better interest rates, and you'll probably get a better deal, because the used market is doing this at a steep rate. The new market is doing this at not a steep rate. So if you have a relatively new 0 to 7-year-old vehicle, buy a new vehicle now, because we have better prices than we did 4 or 5 months ago. Much better prices, unless you're looking for one of those hard to get models. A Ford Maverick, there's no rebates on that. A Ford Bronco, Maverick and Bronco, interest rate is high, no rebates. Why? Because they're so darn popular. Because guess what, folks? Whether you like it or not, we're in a capitalist system, meaning demand versus supply controls pricing. So if you've got really high supply and low demand, guess what? Companies and corporations aren't going to pay to store these units or whatever they're selling. They're not going to stand around and pay interest on them and pay storage fees forever. They're going to drop the price. But when you have much higher demand than supply, well, then you end up with a vehicle that increases price every few months, that has higher and higher interest on it. So you got to go for the models that there's a lot of. You got to go for the high supply models, but be careful. Try to balance that out with also good reputation, good reliability, and good resale. But I showed the list a while ago, and I think I even still have it open here, but maybe I don't. But yeah, right here, you can go and look at a US best-selling automotive brands last month, and certain brands have huge decreases. They're going to need to move units. They're going to have bigger rebates. But you can also look by model, and you can see F-150, there's a lot of inventory of F-150. So guess what? You're going to get a great rebate in either the form of an interest rate or a rebate. And I can bet for the month of August, the F-150 is going to continue to have a fantastically low, for these days, interest rate. And that's what we can expect from it.